was mocked, ridiculed and laughed at during his time at Arsenal, but now Unai Emery is back to haunt his former club. This is how he and Aston Villa have dealt a massive blow to Arsenal's title hopes. If you actually look at the average positions of Villa, the line wasn't actually too high at all, and it limits the space in behind for the Arsenal players to really drive into. And what this does is it really pushes and makes sure that the Arsenal attacks are in front of Villa. Not only does this limit the speed in which Arsenal can attack, but it makes it a little bit easier for Villa fullbacks to get back and defend when they need to. The aggression from Tielemans and McGinn makes sure that Arsenal are always under pressure, always being pressed, always having to think fast on their feet, and that's something that I thought they failed to do in the second half. I was one that thought that Jorginho needed to play from the start. I thought that Arsenal needed a trend setter. I thought they needed a tempo setter and just someone to take the stink out of a very, very vibrant Aston Villa attack. Let's talk about a couple of moments during the match, because I think that's really important to highlight some of the key moments that really did define the way this match was going to play out. This is the first one I want to look at. It's Gabriel who plays the ball onto the back of Zinchenko. Now, I understand that you're really wanting to push the crowd on, you're wanting to push your team on, and so you want to try and go for a pass, but if it's not really on, I think you just need to recycle, go back to your goalkeeper and let him go. Make sure you get your positions back, you reset, and that's actually one of the major problems that Arsenal have later on down the line. That's how they concede one of the goals. It's through them not resetting after a major play. Arsenal failed to really gain or regain the tempo of the match, and that's where the game swung. The substitutions from Mikel Arteta I thought were far too late, in Jorginho out for Jesus, and then there was a really curious moment. We'll talk back about Arsenal now, because I thought that substituting Martin Odegaard was one of the worst decisions that I've seen from Mikel Arteta in quite some time. Smith Rowe hasn't played a game since, I believe, Luton, when Arsenal played. He hasn't got any minutes on his legs. He doesn't really get trusted all too much. And you're asking him, with 10 minutes to go, to almost pull magic from somewhere. You've taken off your best player on the day, and you're just... I thought it was a horrendous decision. This now takes us over to the first real extra chance that Aston Villa had in the second half. Tielemans is going for a duel with Zinchenko, and I don't believe what's happening here. I think Zinchenko tries to go for a nutmeg onto Tielemans right here. I think he just wants to pop the ball through his legs and then go forwards. You cannot do that on the edge of your own box. I cannot state that enough. He needs to know that. He should know that. And if he doesn't know that, then he shouldn't be playing in a game of this magnitude. I'm sorry that if that sounds harsh. That is a ridiculous thing. Tielemans then takes the ball, and you could be 1-0 down. I mean, he moves into the box. Nobody goes forwards to him. Nobody sees the danger. Zinchenko doesn't recover fast enough. It's incredible. He lines it over, it hits the bar, hits the post, and then goes out. How many times do Arsenal need to be given a warning sign? They didn't take their chances, and it left the door open for Aston Villa, who, with the physicality of Zaniolo, the ability of the likes of Leon Bailey once he came on. I thought Diaby struggled, but Bailey really did have the ability to drive with the ball, the physicality, and it's this physicality that I think really upset Arsenal. The space that was left from Zinchenko was a field day for Leon Bailey, and it just meant that Aston Villa were able to get themselves higher up the pitch. This is from a corner. This is Moreno, who's recently come on the pitch. Dini's making a run down the channel. This ball gets played through, but no Arsenal players follow the run. And one really interesting thing that I want to notice. Remember what I said about Arsenal resetting after major situations? You'll love this. This is great. This is Zinchenko. This is Tomiyasu. So this is your left back, right? This is your right back on one side of the pitch. Now, I've seen a load of people have a go at Declan Rice at the end of this scenario, but I've got to say, Zinchenko has no reason to be there. Tomiyasu needs to tuck in, and Zinchenko needs to make his way to the back post. Now, I get it's exciting and a lot happens and it's frenetic, it's frantic, I get it. But really, I just didn't think it was good enough, from my opinion. The ball gets whipped in, Pau Torres makes a run on the front post, this takes away Saliba, and then you're leaving Declan Rice at the back post. For me, Declan Rice has to deal with it if no one else is there. The ball runs through and Rice needs to just charge onto that immediately. He doesn't see the danger fast enough, he doesn't read the moment fast enough. Bailey gets there before and obviously scores. You look at Declan Rice, yes, he tries to run, but it's a little bit too late. It's once Bailey has hit the ball and gets there, a sensational finish, and it becomes 1-0. And then when you take a look at some of the duels and some of the stats, I think it was really telling. The first half was all Arsenal. Make no mistake about it, 3 shots on target. Aston Villa didn't really have too much going on. They had that Ollie Watkins chance, of course, but really, they didn't really offer all too much. The second half comes along, and remember what I said about Jorginho and being that tempo setter. Aston Villa had that tempo setter. They had the ability for John McGinn to be able to go through midfield. They had Tielemans to really control the possession. They didn't have that Arsenal. They didn't have that tempo setter, and it was through the sustained attack from Aston Villa with their 53% possession at the Emirates, I might add, that allowed them to then progress the ball forwards. Now, it's through a couple of mistakes that the goals come out of, but really, Aston Villa thoroughly deserved it. This is a telltale sign of a side that is panicking. This is Jorginho right here, who's come on finally in about the 79th minute to try and shore up the game. This is from Arsenal's corner. They play the ball out. It's a bit ricocheted here or there, playing a bit of head tennis. But generally, I don't know what pass he's playing here. So if anybody can let me know in the comment section below, please do, because I don't know where this is going. Is it going to him? And he's meant to be making a run there? Is it meant to be on the outside? Is it meant to be through to this area? But no one's making the run. No one's there. He's playing the pass. No one is moving. I'm serious. He's not moving. He's not really moving. We look out on this left-hand side, and he's not moving. He's stationary, watching the play happen. I don't know what's going on. This gets intercepted, and then Aston Villa score from here. Ollie Watkins is here. He's about to spin. You can't see him there, but Ollie Watkins is here. He's about to spin in behind. You've got Smith Rowe here, who is your last man from the corner. And it's just, yeah, it's not good enough for me. Tielemans takes the ball, he plays it over the top. It's a brilliantly weighted pass for Watkins, who was in his own half, so he's not offside. Smith Rowe onto Watkins. You have the other Arsenal players trying desperately to run back, and it ends up being just shocking, to be honest. While Aston Villa really grew into the game, Arsenal definitely faded away. And it was through this mentality that I think needs to be questioned the most. But if you're talking about Aston Villa as a side, you need to be giving them credit. They don't have their full squad. They don't have Douglas Luiz. They don't have Buendia. They don't have Kamara. They don't have Mings or Ramsey. Now you can say that Arsenal don't have someone out, of course. But these are a lot of starters for Aston Villa. And if you consider the way that they played, the way they set up, and the way they managed to bring the game forwards, I think they deserve more credit than Arsenal do for throwing it away. Aston Villa were sensational. I said this when I was talking about Bayern Munich and Arsenal, and there was a naivety about this Arsenal side when they went forwards, especially in a more panic state scenario, or in a state of emotion, or a state of a major occasion. And I've got to label it at them here. They looked naive. They went 1-0 down, and they did not look composed. They did not look level-headed. It's got to be fixed, and I don't know whether they've thrown away the chance, but it looks like they might have. As for Aston Villa, this is a telltale sign on how to beat a side who are not necessarily low on confidence, but who are unsure of the way they go forwards. Villa grew into the game, and I thought they did a brilliant job. Watkins' finish is fantastic. He's 1 away from 20 Premier League goals in the entirety of the season, and I thought Leon Bailey did a really good job once he came on and really made an impact. This Unai Emery team is nothing short of brilliant at this current point in time, and thoroughly deserve Champions League football. But of course, as ever, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learnt something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.